Death. It's the only promise life never breaks. And yet, we spend our entire existence trying to forget it. We build religions to soften its weight. We chase pleasures to ignore its silence. We even tell ourselves stories of eternity to escape the truth that everything we love will one day end. But what if death isn't the enemy? What if fearing death is what keeps us from truly living? Why do we fear death? Because we fear the unknown. The human brain is a prediction machine. It survives by knowing what comes next, by turning chaos into order. But death is the one thing it can't predict. No mind can imagine nothing. Try it. Try to imagine non-existence, not darkness, not sleep, not void, just nothing. You can't. The very act of imagining requires a consciousness that wouldn't be there. So the fear of death isn't just emotional, it's neurological. Our minds aren't built to comprehend the end of themselves, so they rebel. We invent afterlives. We promise reincarnation. We say, he's in a better place, not because we know, but because we need to believe that consciousness doesn't just vanish. Death threatens the illusion of control, and the ego doesn't survive that. If fear is the seed, then religion is the tree. From the first funeral rituals to modern theology, every faith began as an answer to death. The ancients saw storms and hunger and plague, but nothing terrified them like the final breath. And so they imagined spirits, heavens, gods, and souls. Religion, then, was humanity's first medicine for mortality. It gave meaning to suffering, order to chaos, and comfort to grief. But here's the paradox. Religion promises to remove the fear of death, yet it also creates the fear of eternal punishment. It sells peace by replacing one terror with another. And still, we buy it, because even fear is easier to bear than uncertainty. Science, on the other hand, stripped away the veil. It taught us that death is not punishment, it's process. Cells die, stars explode, galaxies collapse, and yet life continues in new forms. In nature, death is not an ending, it's transformation. A leaf falls, becomes soil, feeds the seed, and life begins again. But for us, the self-aware, that's not enough. We don't fear the end of life, we fear the end of identity. We can accept that the body returns to dust, but not that we disappear with it. And here lies the modern tragedy. We have science to explain how we die, but not philosophy strong enough to tell us why it matters. Let's ask the forbidden question. What if there's nothing after death? No heaven, no soul, no cosmic reunion, just the silence of matter returning to matter. Would that make life meaningless or more meaningful than ever before? If eternity doesn't exist, then every moment does. Every laugh, every love, every sunrise becomes infinitely valuable, precisely because it will never happen again. Mortality gives urgency to existence. If life were endless, would we even care about living it? The fragility of life is what makes it sacred. Still, we resist. Humans may never conquer death, but we're obsessed with pretending we can. We upload our memories to clouds. We build digital avatars that outlive us. We invent gods, cryogenic chambers, and artificial intelligence, all driven by the same primal terror, the desire to keep existing. We fear death not because it ends life, but because it ends our story. Every religion, every monument, every social media post, a desperate cry against oblivion. We want to be remembered, proof that we mattered. But perhaps legacy is just another illusion, a comfort to ease the silence. Epicurus said, "Death is nothing to us because when we exist, death is not here. And when death comes, we no longer exist." He meant, fear of death is irrational. It belongs to the living, not the dead. But Nietzsche would disagree. He'd say, the awareness of death gives birth to passion, rebellion, and creation. We create art because we die. We love deeply because we know time will steal it. Maybe fear of death isn't a flaw, it's fuel. Without death, there'd be no urgency to grow, learn, or love. Immortality wouldn't be paradise, it would be paralysis. And yet, maybe there's something beyond what we can measure. Consciousness remains one of science's deepest mysteries. Some physicists believe awareness may be woven into reality itself, not born from it. So maybe death isn't destruction, but return. Maybe the universe isn't a place we live in, but something that lives through us. When we die, perhaps it just exhales. Every sunset proves endings can be beautiful. Every season ends so another can begin. Life's worth isn't in length, it's in intensity. To fear death is to fear life itself. To face it